Okay, everyone. So we have completed the migration. It shows as perfect, but we need to be sure if all the emails are migrated. So the best way to check is I go over here. Uh, do not worry about this field. That's okay. We really need to go over here and check how much data was migrated, which is 38.6 megabytes. And we need to cross check that with the data that is there in the Google admin. Okay, so I go to the Google admin. Just one moment. Okay, so I come over here, I go to home to click on manage users. Now I have Rosie, I click on Rosie and it's 32 MB that was there in Google Workspace, and we were able to migrate up to 38 MB. So that is good, which means that it has also migrated any other archives or any other saved drafts, and that's the reason it shows that more is migrated. Now the reason it is showing failed is because we had also enabled the API to migrate the contacts and people, but it was not able to find those details in this particular workspace account, and that's the reason it says that it's failed, and that's absolutely okay. So if there is contacts and people details, then it will migrate those details and it will say that it's successful. But the only thing that we usually check is like how much data is migrated. So usually once the migration is completed, we need to check how much data was there in each user's workspace in Google Workspace, and we need to compare that with the data that is migrated. And if it's same or if it's more, then it just means that the Google Workspace migration has been completed. Now the only last thing that's remaining is after this is that we need to do a domain cutover, which means we need to go back to the admin center. Okay, we need to go to show all settings domains, and we need to complete. Okay, what's happened? Let's just refresh this. Okay, yeah. So we need to complete this setup. We need to connect the MX records of this domain to Exchange, so that now all the emails to this domain gets pointed towards Exchange instead of Google Workspace, so that the client can start using the Exchange right away, and they can stop using the Google Workspace. Okay, so now we will go ahead and connect the Exchange, and we will complete all the DNS record setup. And now we can see that it has been completed. Yep, that's completed. That's good. Now the one last thing we can do is we can just go ahead and check in Outlook if all the emails are reflecting. So I open Outlook and try to sign in. So this is the email account. Brilliant. So we have all the details. Well, first of all, we are in Rosie at Fernandez. Okay. So the one thing that we can do is sign in with a different account. So yes, maybe we can just forget this. Rosie at Learn Texas Info. Okay. Now we just need to check these emails. Big Basket, Air India. Yeah. So see, we can see those emails over here. Just to be sure, like the recent emails are reflecting, which it is reflecting. So that's good. That means the migration is completed. And yep, that's how we complete Google Workspace migration. Please continue watching this video to understand the steps that was taken in order to complete the migration. All the prerequisite steps is explained in detail, and even the service account creation and the JSON creation is also explained, and any known error is also being troubleshooted. Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Ranjit and I'm the Microsoft 365 administration expert. Okay, so today we are going to look at a migration wherein the client is trying to migrate from the Gmail Google Workspace account to the Microsoft Exchange. So basically, they need a new account, a new business account in Microsoft, which we have set up for the client, and they need to migrate all these emails, which is in the Google Workspace. They need to get this migrated to the Microsoft Exchange account. So let's go ahead and get this done today. Well, first of all, if you check the domain name is learntechsys.info, right? So we need to first of all get this domain added to the Microsoft account, not configured, just added. So if you see over here, I have already added the domain. Okay. So this helps us to ensure that we can add the user with the same email ID. So if you see over here in the Google Workspace, the email ID is learntechsys.info. That's Rosie at learntechsys.info. And we have already got that added over here because we have connected the domain. We have not configured the domain because if we configure the domain, okay, it will also direct all the emails that is coming into this domain to the exchange, but that will also cause an issue for the emails to be interrupted. So if anyone is already working in the Google Workspace, their emails will get disturbed, or their emails will get interrupted, and we don't want that to happen. We do not want the operational activity to get hampered, and that is the reason we have just connected the domain to the Microsoft Exchange. Now after this, we have gone ahead and added the user, and the user's email ID is also configured, which looks exactly the same like that is there in the Gmail. Okay, now after that, we will go ahead and start with the migration. Okay, now we are going to follow the manual method of migrations. I'll just show you what is the uh, method that I'm talking about. The manual method of migration ensures that all the emails are migrated. There is zero latency, and there is zero loss provided the archive emails do not get migrated. Okay, so basically we are going to create a project, a Google Workspace project, and we are going to create a service account. We are also generate a JSON key, and we are going to enable all these APIs. So this is going to be done manually, which will ensure that the process is smoothly implemented. Okay, now to do this, let's go to console.cloud.google.com. Okay, and we are going to log in with the super admin account of the Gmail account for which we need to carry out the migration. So I'll go over here and I will log into Rosie's account because we need to migrate the emails from this Google Workspace account to the Exchange. Okay, so now I have already logged in with Rosie's account, which is Rosie at learntechsys.info. Okay, now we go to select a project. We will select the domain because we need to create the project under the domain. Okay, now I'll click on new project. Okay, now this is fine. My project 16749. Yeah, this is good. And we'll go ahead and create a project now. Okay, so now the project is created. So once the project is created, we will go ahead and click on select project. Okay, once we have clicked on select project, now we need to go ahead and create a service account under this project. Okay, so in order to create a service account, we would need to go to service accounts. Yep, create service account. Now let's give this service account a name. Let's give it as Learn Tech Migration. So that's the service account ID. You can put the name as per your choice, so there's no problem with that. So I'll just put this description, because usually you will find that there are many service account that is created in the Google Workspace for various reasons. So it's important that you put a description so you do not forget why this service account was created in the first place. So this service account is to carry out the migration from Google Workspace to Microsoft Outlook. Okay, this is good. And now we'll go ahead and click on create and continue. So once that is done, now it will ask us to give some permission for the service account, which we will give it as an owner permission. And now we will click on continue. So it's given the permission and you can see it over here, and then we will click on done. Okay, now this will create an O authentication ID, which is very important. So we need to copy this O authentication ID, and we need to save it in a notepad because we will require it during the migration. So I'll take this, I'll go over here and I'll put the O authentication ID. Okay, now after that we need to create a JSON key, and I have noticed that many people tend to find an issue while creating a JSON key. This is exactly the place where they get stuck. Okay. So probably let me see if we are going to get that error. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If we get that error, then I will also show you how we can solve that error. Okay. So here I go to the keys, add key, create a new key, and it's JSON that is recommended. And we click on create. Yes, this is the error that I'm talking about. Okay. It's kind of blocking it. So how do we solve this error? Okay, it's very simple. First of all, we need to go back to the domain project. Okay, and then we need to go to organization policies. Yes, this is the one. And we go over here, and well, first of all, we try to search for disable service account key creation. So see, if you see this is active over here. So if we need to, well, first of all, disable service account key creation, we need to go over here and we need to, okay, we are not able to manage the policies. So in that case, let's go over here, IAM. Yeah. Now, if you see over here, it says that Rosie Learn Texas is just an organization administrator. We need to grant access as organization policy administrator. So we will go over here, or rather we can do this, we can cancel this. We will go over here, organization administrator. We will add one more role, which is organization. I think it's SATION, organization policy. Add, yeah, this is organization policy administrator. Yeah, that's added. So it's organization administrator, and organization policy administrator role has been assigned to Rosie, that we can show you here. Now we will come back to organization policies. Okay. And we will try to disable service account creation, which hopefully should work now. Let's see. Yeah, see, we are able to manage the policy now. We will go over here and we will delete this and we will add a rule. Enforcement is off. Set policy. So it says as not enforced, which is very good. Okay. Now we go back to our project ID. Okay. And we need to go to our service account. Okay. Now let's try to see if we are able to generate the key. So I go here to the keys. Okay. Add key, create new key, JSON key, and create. Okay, no problem. Disable service account recreation. So let's go over here once again to the organization policy. Let's try to see disable service account recreation. Well, that's strange. Both are inactive. Okay, let's try to refresh this page. Okay, and now let's go back to our service account. Let's go over here and service account status enabled keys. Let's try to create a new key once again. So let's create. Yeah, so that's done. The service account, the JSON key is created. I usually try to see where is it. Probably we can just put it in the desktop. So we will just right click on that, we will cut it, and we will try to get it onto the desktop. Yeah, so here we have it on the desktop, which is brilliant. So finally the JSON key is created. Okay, so this is usually the error that most of the engineers they get. Okay, so that's how it gets resolved. Now let's do one thing. Now let's go to now we need to go ahead and get the APIs enabled. So I will come back to the admin console. Okay, and let's start with we can start with Gmail API. Okay, so this will basically ensure that all the Gmails are just one moment. Gmail API. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's there in the Cloud Console. So I will come to the Cloud Console, search for Gmail API, and I will go ahead and enable that. So that will ensure that all the emails in the Gmail account is migrated. Okay. So that is done. Okay. Now we will go ahead and enable the contacts API, which basically means that any contact that is already been stored in the Gmail account or the Google Workspace account, we will be able to migrate the contacts as well. Okay. So now that's completed, that's enabled. Okay. Now we will also go ahead and enable the Google Calendar. So all the future invites and anything that was already scheduled on the Google Calendar, we will be able to go ahead and migrate those to the Microsoft Outlook Exchange as well. So we'll go ahead and enable the Google Calendar as well. Okay. So now the Google Calendar API is also enabled. Last but not the least, Google People API, which ensures any other people contact that is there, profile contacts that is there, we will be able to migrate that as well. Okay. So that's brilliant. That's been taken care of. Okay. That's also enabled. Now let's do one thing. Let's quickly go to the admin console and let's try to add a domain wide delegation. Basically, it will delegate the domain to carry out the migration. Okay. So for that, we need to go to, we need to come over here and just one moment. Maybe I can just type domain wide delegation. Strange. Okay, no problem. So we need to go to API controls, API controls is in apps. It's API controls. Okay. And after that, we go to domain-wide delegations. Okay. So we go and click manage domain-wide delegation. We click on add new. So the client ID. Okay. So the client ID. Now there is some prerequisite client ID that is already there that I have saved. So I'll just copy paste those client IDs. Just one moment. Yeah, so we go ahead and add all the client IDs over here. Okay, now it will require an OAuth code. Now OAuth code is the same code that we had saved earlier while creating the service account. So we are going to use that OAuth code. We are going to just paste it over here. Okay, and we are going to authorize this. So before that, maybe I can just clear all the spaces and ensure that all the client IDs are added. So it's google.com, googleapis.com, authorization contacts, authorization calendar, email settings and sharing, and email settings and sharings, calendar, and finally we have the emit fields, which is good. So we go ahead and add the OAuth. Oh, sorry. So I think we've done a small mistake over here. The OAuth scopes needs to be here, and the client ID is actually the OAuth code. Okay, so this looks good. Let's go ahead and authorize this. So that's completed. So all the prerequisite that is required to be done towards the Google Workspace has been completed. Okay, now let's go to the migration tab. So we come back to the Exchange, we go to the migration, we start with manual migration, we click on next. Okay, and like let's start with creating a new migration endpoint. uh, let's name it as migration learn Texas. Rest remains the same. Is good. Next. So the email address over here needs to be the address of the super admin. So even if there are 10 users, you need to add the email address only of the super admin of that account. So in this case, it's going to be rosie at learntexios.info. Okay. So I'm going to add this over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and import the JSON file which we had downloaded. So this is the JSON file. Okay. Always remember JSON file is a very critical file. You should not lose this file. You should not share this with anyone. This needs to be only your file, and once the migration is completed, it is recommended that you go ahead and delete the JSON file because it can actually pose a threat if it lands uh, into incorrect hands, or if it lands to a different person, they will be able to access your account. So let's now create an endpoint for the migration. So that's good. The migration endpoint is created. Now let's click on next. Okay. Now it requires a CSV file. Now we need to create a CSV file, which is actually very simple. I'll just open an Excel sheet. Okay. I go over here. I'll put over here as email address and the user name. Okay. Now in this case, it's going to be the same email ID. Okay. So I'll just show it to you. It's going to remain this same user email ID. So basically, even if we have 10 users, we have to ensure that all the 10 users added over here and in the Gmail, their email ID remains the same. So I'm going to go ahead and add this over here. learntextuse.info, learntextuse.info. Okay. Now that is all that is required. So basically, this is the destination file. This is the this is the destination email. This is the target email. Let's go ahead and save this as a CSV file on the desktop. So it's going to be saved in the format of CSV comma delimited. I'll save it as migration list, and that gets saved. Okay. So now I come over here, I go back to the Exchange, I'll go and click import CSV file. I'll select the migration file that we have selected. Okay. So that's been attached. Let's go ahead and click next. Okay, we need all of the mails, calendar, contact rules, everything to be migrated to Exchange. Yeah, this is correct. Everything looks good. learntextuse.info. Yep, let's click on next. Let's automatically complete the batch, and it will also send a report to in our Exchange account. So let's click on save. Now it will create a batch. Okay. Oh yeah. So that happened because we had kept a space over here. We need to remove the space. Control SS1 again. Click on back, back, back. Import CSV file once again. Now we will try to import it again. Let's see if it works. Now it's creating a batch for the migration. Great. So the batch is created. Now let's just give it some time. It take up to like an hour or more depending upon the email size and then the number of user that needs to be migrated. So we will get back and we will check what is the status of the migration.